How's it going, everyone? This is Kevin. Today I'll bring along with me to talk about the Tamron 35-150 and why it's good to be a Nikon user today. So let's jump right into it. Well, Nikon users, rejoice because you're about to get a super amazing lens coming to your Z mount. I know we all give crap to Nikon users just because they're Nikon, but in all honesty, Nikon isn't so far-fetched into the bad spectrum of bad camera gear. They do make some, I guess, interesting choices with their selection of what they make, but they're getting with the right program. Heck, even Canon doesn't have this sweet bad boy into their lineup. So for lack of a better way to put it, Nikon is going into a better side right now than even Canon. But all jokes aside, guys, fighting between the camera brands is always fun, but realistically, whatever works best for your system is all that matters. But I thought it'd be a great time to talk about how Nikon is getting the sweet 35-150 f2-2.8 by Tamron into their Z mount, and to be honest, that's very awesome. I've had really great success with this lens. I've really loved every little bit of it, and I kind of wanted to share to anybody that's a Nikon Z mount user on why you should get this lens and how it's been a phenomenal lens for me and for a lot of people that I've gotten to talk about that has this lens. Obviously, a lot of the times when it comes down to zoom lenses, they are a little bit more into that f2.8 lens type. And with this lens, you get a little bit more of that, open aperture at f2 to the 2.8 as you zoom in. But having that 35 to the 150 mark just adds a lot of sweet spots. I made a video when I first got this where I got rid of my prime lenses because the minor differences between the 35 that I had, which is a 1.4 to the 35 at f2 of this, and also my 85mm 1.8 to the 85 about 2.8 that it had with this, just didn't really make sense for me to keep all those prime lenses around. The only factor that would be great, I guess, is if you want to have a little bit of a lighter setup, might be good to keep those, prime lenses. But this lens has just covered every single base of mine, that being able to travel with just one lens setup style and then have my Tamron 20-40 now, which at the time I would use a lot my 17-28, to have a condensed down, setup where I can cover all my bases from the ultra wide all the way to the telephoto, just made a lot of sense. So if you're a Nikon user and you're kind of debating if you want to get maybe this lens or if it's too heavy or what the thought process might be, hopefully a little bit of the input that I'll share more within this video and some of the footage that I've been able to capture with this will convince you otherwise. The Tamron 35-150 is a little bit on the heavier side compared to most zoom lenses, but to be honest, the weight itself is not an issue to me. You get really used to everything like that from it, that I haven't really noticed it at all. I've taken it with me through Europe, where I've been able to just go ahead and do street photography out there, packing it around with me while going out and about whenever I'm out in Europe, and whether it's in France or wherever I was at the time, as well as taking it with me to Mexico, as well as New York City, and just everywhere that I've been able to travel to bring this lens setup with me has been awesome. It's never made me feel like I'm gonna miss a shot. It always works really well with the autofocus. It has really good, customization with the buttons that I need for whatever I want to use, as well as being able to zoom in from 35 to 150 to not miss any of the shots that I want to take while I'm out and about. For me, one of the most important things when it comes down to gear is how fast can I use it, how efficiently, and how much can I condense down to have the bare minimum but also get the best results out of it. This lens is just that. To me, it's always done the best in the world when it comes down to having a good fast autofocus. I'm able to capture everything that I need to. I can cover all my shots, whether it's from wide to mid to telephoto. I'm covered and I can get everything that I need to do for my type of work. So that's one of the reasons why I've always highly recommended this lens. It's one of the reasons why I find it very exciting, because I do have some friends that shoot with Nikon, and if they're able to get their hands on one of these lenses, I think they're going to be very happy with the outcome of the quality and also with the quality of output that you get within the lens itself with the photos or videos that you want to take. I haven't had any issues with it. Honestly, even just going through it, there's no issues with me, whether it's you would see dust inside of it or anything like that. Mine isn't the cleanest right now, but it is a little bit more into that aspect where I can just have a quality built lens that I can take quality photos with it and just keep working and creating. So if you're a Nikon user and you're wanting to dive into maybe a more telephoto lens with a little bit more of the wider range with a nice zoom range, are you interested in the Tamron 35-150 f2-2.8? Or what other type of zoom range lens would you be interested in, and by whom? Is it a Nikon lens or is it something else? I would love to know your thoughts on that end, because personally I don't shoot with Nikon. I have shot with Nikon whenever I got my Canon camera stolen when I had the SL1. I had to use my dad's Nikon D3200 for a while, and I had like the kit lens and then also bought like some cheap prime lens. But then once I started diving more into photography and videography, I started going with the Sony line just because of the type of lenses that they had, and that where I wouldn't be breaking the bank with going with what I was getting, because obviously bodies of cameras can be expensive, and as well adding all to the lenses and everything. I want to make sure that I'm getting the best bang for my buck, which to me Sony was checking more off the list now. But having now more diversity in lenses when it comes onto the Nikon mount, I think is going to help people, decide if they want to go with different brands. There's a good reason why we're starting to have more competition, which makes companies bring out the best out into the world when it comes down to better camera bodies, better lenses, better options, so that it can fit with everybody's budget. So in all, I think I'm very excited for the Nikon users, because it's probably going to open a lot more doors for people just to find the right camera with an awesome zoom lens like the 35-150, because I honestly have enjoyed this lens the most, and it's probably one of my most favorite lenses that I've ever owned, and probably will own for a while until they come out with a new version of this that could be maybe a 24-180, which would be unreal, but wishful thinking, or adding a little bit some of like the OSS or anything like that, like how other Sony lenses or the more native lenses have, so that it helps stabilize better with my camera, so that I'm more run and gun style. But a lot of the newer cameras are beginning more of that steady camera stabilization within the camera, so maybe I'll be fine without it. But that's just from some future kind of thoughts that I had. But Nikon, you're doing good. You're doing good. So hopefully the Nikon users see that they're getting a nice little holy lens right there for them, so that they can go out and create their goodies and enjoy some nice 35-150 range with some f2-2.8. You'll enjoy it. So go get yourself one. Don't miss out, because a lot of people did whenever this came out for Sony. But with all that said and done, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure to like and subscribe. Share this video with a friend. I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.